and welcome to 17 Minutes of Science, our show that explores the world of science and how it affects both the starting academic and the seasoned professional. I am Hannah Houston, and today I am joined by Alicia McConnell. Alicia is a postdoctoral fellow studying melanoma using zebrafish at Boston Children's Hospital in Leonard Zon's lab. She received her PhD from Duke University in cell biology, working on lung stem cell biology and the effect of radiation on the lungs. Since the first year of graduate school, Alicia has participated in and eventually led science education outreach efforts. She is passionate about increasing diversity in STEM and improving scientific literacy through outreach, which is what we will be talking about more today. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start my timer and we can jump on into it. So you were one of the founders of Camp Zon. Can you tell us more about what this is?
Sure. Camp Zon is a 2-week high school research experience where students are studying anemia using zebrafish. And we break the students into teams. They generate hypotheses, design experiments, collect data, and then analyze their data. And the really exciting part of the camp is when at the very end, when the students put their data together in a presentation and actually present it to the lab and answer questions from the lab, just like a lab meeting. They also have the opportunity to interact with lots of scientists at different stages in their career, as well as physicians, medical doctors that in the form of a career panel or through lectures and discussion sections.
Wow, that sounds like such a great opportunity for these students.
Yeah, definitely.
So what inspired you to start Camp Zon?
I was inspired to start Camp Zon actually for a while now. I was noticing that in every lab I worked in previously and just in biomedical research in general, the majority of people kind of get their start, especially at that really early high school age, working in biomedical research labs through arriving through connections with family or, networking connections. So they basically already have to be connected into that world. And so I saw how difficult it was for students that may not have access to biomedical research or know anyone that does this as a career to even know about career options in this field. And I think that's really impactful because one thing that I am really passionate about is increasing diversity in STEM. And so I wanted to make sure I created an opportunity that was not only a realistic lab experience that maybe is different than what a student might experience in their classroom in school, but also expanding that access to students that don't have prior research experience or don't have research connections.
Right. That's wonderful. We need more programs like that. So is this reflected then in the mission of Camp Zon is to increase that diversity in STEM?
Yeah, exactly. I think that providing that authentic biomedical research experience was definitely our goal in expanding access and introduce career opportunities as well, particularly from students with diverse backgrounds. I think that we've really been able to achieve that mission over the years because we've partnered with various programs like Boston Public Schools and the Coach program at Boston Children's Hospital to recruit and get applications from students from a wide variety of backgrounds, which is really exciting. And we've also been able to make it more achievable for people from various socioeconomic backgrounds as well by making this actually a paid research experience. So that is pretty unique for a high school program.
Yeah, and probably makes it much more incentivizing to a lot of students who might, need that paid opportunity, and now they can get a great educational opportunity as well. So Camp Zon uses zebrafish. How have the students reacted to working with the fish?
I personally love using zebrafish in not only like my work, but outreach, but because really it's like the most amazing way to kind of have these complex, often theoretical topics become more tangible. And I think students respond extremely well to it. They love seeing the fish, not only in our huge aquarium that we keep all of our tanks in our lab, but also particularly they love to see the embryos develop. I think one of the most amazing and beautiful things about zebrafish is that you can actually watch their development happen because it's outside of the mother. And so they develop from a single cell embryo in these clear little bubbles called chorions. And you can really watch them over a matter of a couple of days generate all of their organs, including a beating heart, flowing blood cells. And to visualize that just under a light microscope is just amazing. You know, even as a scientist, seeing it so many times, I definitely still get excited over it. And I think it's a really big point to spark students' interest in biology, to just be able to naturally watch and observe. And I think it also encourages them to come up with further scientific questions and hypotheses when they're just watching natural development. It kind of sparks that curiosity that's, you know, innate in all of us.
Right. And the way you're describing it, it really makes the zebrafish sound like such an approachable model, because you can see all of these stages and it's not very intimidating to work with. And so it's so great that you're able to introduce students to this, because I bet a lot of them are like, what do you mean we're going to use a fish? Isn't that what you get at the pet store?
Exactly.
So Camp Zon has been running since 2019. Can you tell us more about how the program has evolved since the first year?
Sure. So like I said, our goal is to expand access. So we definitely have achieved that, in that we started with 12 students. And this past year in 2021, we moved up to 30 students that are high schoolers, which was really exciting. But yeah, exactly. In 3 years. But the most exciting thing is that we moved online. Obviously, this was a little forced on us due to the pandemic, as in almost every situation. But we went virtual in 2020 and ended up slightly changing our format, but still kept the 2-week research experience, same research questions and hypotheses and interaction with the data. But instead of having the students be the ones physically handling the fish, we have everything filmed on video, you know, live, following us around in lab videos, and we hand the students the data and then they do their own analysis. So we actually take surveys every year and found that the student learning outcomes and experience that they had with the program ranked just as highly for the in-person and virtual programs, which is really awesome. And in addition, we added college mentors. And I think this kind of created a more supportive and welcoming environment that made high school students feel comfortable, because they could have these small group discussions with their college mentors and really open up, come out of their shell and ask lots of different questions.
So are those college mentors students who have gone through the program in the past, or how do you recruit these college mentors?
Yeah, we did actually have one of them who was in person in 2019 happen to get in touch with us. And I said, we would love to have you back. And so she served as a college mentor for the program, which was like really awesome. Most of the other college mentors, we just solicit openly through colleges around the Boston area. And yeah, get some people through that way. And then they are assigned a group of 5 students each. So they also get a lot out of the program as well. We've heard from them that it's not only a mentorship experience for them, but they are also participating on the career panels and hearing all of these stories and looking at the various career opportunities. So I think it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And what a full circle for that one student who participated in the first year to now get to be a mentor. That's so wonderful. So since you had to go virtual due to the pandemic, do you think you'll stay virtual going forward in order to have a broader pool of participants, or is the aim to get physically back in the lab as soon as possible?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we really debated over this quite a bit, but we did decide to stay virtual in the future, given that the outcomes and were just as positive virtually versus in person. We were really encouraged by that data. And as you said, the virtual format really allows us to kind of focus on our mission of expanding access. And so I think it would be physically impossible to host 30 students in the lab space. We'd have to have a dedicated lab just for Camp Zon. So I think this year it definitely wouldn't have been possible if we had been in person. So we were really excited to keep it virtual, because actually next year in 2022, we'd like to open it to 36 students.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So are your students from, all over, given that it is a virtual program, or do you still try to keep them in the Boston area?
Yeah, that's a great question. So because it is a paid experience and Massachusetts laws being as they are, we do have to have them come in person one day for an onboarding visit. But additionally, we have to have them located in Massachusetts. But we've had students from, quite a far driving distance within Massachusetts. And prior to it being a paid experience, we actually had students from New Jersey, California, Minnesota. So it was quite widespread. But then with the addition of the great addition of the payment, we did have to limit it a little bit to Massachusetts. But we think ultimately it'll help the program grow.
That's really cool. So you've said that the program is 2 weeks long. What was the thinking behind having it 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks or 1 week?
Yeah, so that came a little bit out of practicality on not only the researcher side, but the student side as well. We would have students come and stay in the lab prior to the creation of Camp Zon, students would stay in the lab for varying amounts of time. And we found that after 2 weeks, they weren't necessarily getting a ton out of the experience. And also the researcher's time that was hosting them as a mentor was getting taken up a lot as well. So we wanted to kind of pick a time frame that was digestible from a teaching perspective, not only from us leading the program, but also for the students taking it, that it's enough time that they can get something great out of it and can see a complete research project, while limiting it to not take up, full-time staff of researchers dedicated to the program. So it's definitely a practical decision, but I think it's worked out really well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's working, then it's working, and no reason to change it. And 2 weeks seems like a pretty good amount of time for students to really get a thorough experience and, learn a lot.
Exactly. That's what we felt.
So where do you hope Camp Zon will be in another 5 years or 10 years?
Yeah, this is really exciting to think about, especially because, we just created the program from scratch 3 years ago already. And to see it grow so much has been really exciting. So I would love to see it continue to increase the reach and the number of students that are able to participate. And perhaps that might look like adding additional offerings like a winter Camp Zon, as opposed to just a summer program, program over their winter break or spring break or something like that. I think that would be nice to have it at different times of the year to hit different student populations. I also would like to see Camp Zon coming up with different experimental variations. So right now we focus on anemia, but actually half of the Zon lab studies melanoma as well. So it would be really cool to have like a cancer version of Camp Zon, or anemia version, or a CRISPR version of Camp Zon. And so I think incorporating these different real life research projects that we have going in the lab more into the camp would be a really cool way for it to grow.
Right, pique the interest of some students who might not be that interested in anemia, but they really want to study or do something with CRISPR, that could just open up a whole new audience for you guys.
Right, exactly.
So do you do you have any hopes for Camp Zon being kind of a like a template for programs like this for other researchers to adopt in their own labs?
I would absolutely love that. I think it's a really achievable program to kind of recreate in any lab, really, because it requires just a few people, lab members that are willing to give lectures, be on career panels. And then, for instance, myself and the co-director, Chloe Barron, she and I have worked hard to create this 2-week experience, but it could really be replicated anywhere and with any subject matter. And so I think just plugging in different hypotheses and different experiments would be definitely achievable in any lab. So I would welcome contact from anyone who's interested in getting it going on their own.
That's wonderful. Well, we have just under a minute left today. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about what your personal plans for the future are. Are you hoping to stay involved in STEM outreach and education?
Yeah, I definitely will hopefully incorporate it into my career in the future. I think no matter where I go in academia or industry, I would really like to continue that mission of expanding access to STEM and increasing diversity in STEM. So I would like for that to stay as central as possible for my future career, for sure.
Well, that's wonderful. And I just stopped my timer so it didn't go off right at 1 second left. So good timing there. Alicia, it was wonderful to talk with you today and learn more about Camp Zon. It's an incredible program that you have going there.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity to share.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for tuning in to 17 Minutes of Science. We will see you next time.